Melbourne houses may fall up to 20%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your Steiner coffee because more and more articles are appearing in the mainstream media discussing property falls and significant falls. This one is from news.com.au, written by James Hall, discussing, well, a potential 20% fall in Melbourne housing, in the Victorian housing market. Now, before we go through this, I'll just bring up this chart here that's showing, hang on, property price growth. You can see the dark blue line at the top of the chart. Look at that growth. This is on an index from zero. So, it peaked in, 2017, 18, 140, dropped back down, shot back up again. So a 20% fall from, let's just say 120, that'll take you down to here. That would take you back to 2016 prices, give or take. We'll have to see, everyone. We'll have to see. But the fact that this is being mentioned in nearly every article that we're talking about, of potential falls, property falls. It's not just those that have the unorthodox opinions that dare to warn people about taking on massive debt. That are laughed at by the spruikers. Well, now the spruikers are being sanctimonious, saying, how dare people, hope for property falls and people forced to sell, yada, yada, yada. I mean, come on. Come on. This is what can happen, guys. What can happen? I mean, it's a bubble, guys. It's a bubble. I'll bring up this quote just in case someone hasn't seen it before. The Candlon effect refers to the change in relative prices resulting from a change in money supply. Property in Australia is where a lot of money gets injected into the economy. People go and borrow money. That money is created. We are property obsessed here, and we're getting a huge bubble in property. You can't afford a house on one worker anymore. You both need to work. That reduces your quality of life. You can't afford the holidays anymore. Or if you do, people just go into debt more and more and more. And you've got people now that don't even have any emergency fund. Have got nothing stashed away, no savings. You've got professionals who'd be over six figures, who don't even have enough set aside to be able to ride 6 months without depending on the mortgage holidays. So 20% fall, maybe too drastic? I don't know. If you bought a $700,000 house and you took a $140,000 hit, that's a lot of mortgage repayments that you'll be making for nothing into the thin air. How would you, if you own a house, how would you handle a 20% hit? If we took it, I wouldn't be too worried. We're here for the long term. But I bought a fixer-upper, so we're below market. Which needs a lot of work, a lot of love. But the mortgage is very manageable. Where some people, you're getting close to $1 million. $1 million. And interest rates, the cash rate. I mean, there's even people asking, do they think the cash rate will go up? I haven't updated my chart, guys. They're asking, will the cash rate go up? It's not going to go up, everyone. The cash rate will not change, according to the RBA, until unemployment hits, gets down to 4%, 4.5%? I can't see that happening for a long time. If anything, we might start to see negative rates. I know they said it wouldn't happen, but they've also said a lot of things wouldn't happen. A year ago, you probably wouldn't have thought that locking down the entire state and restricting people to, if you had said you won't be allowed to travel more than 5 kilometers from your house and only one person can go shopping, you would have been called a nutter, a tin foil hat or aluminium foil hat conspiracy theorist. It's funny. Funny how life seems to work out sometimes. So let's have a look at this. Melbourne property prices are shrinking at a rapid rate as national housing values record losses for the third consecutive month in July. The Victorian capital city lost 1.2% over the month, according to the CoreLogic data released this morning, accelerating to a concerning annualized rate of 14.4%. Sydney prices fell 0.9%, while the losses in Perth, Brisbane and Hobart were more narrow, down between 0.6 and 0.2%. The Adelaide and Canberra markets continue to buck the national trend, though rising 0.1 and 0.6% respectively. The data comes just days after Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews announced stage 4 lockdowns, which would come at a significant cost to local businesses and the state's economy. While we're looking at in other articles that I've discussed, I'll probably release after this video, up to 250,000 additional people unemployed. The grim conditions will likely impact the property sector further as fiscal support packages dry up from October and the bank's home loan holiday expires in March, CoreLogic head of research Tim Lawless said. Or what could happen is the government could just pump more money into the economy, creating more inflation. Here's the thing. You've got the modern definition of inflation, which is rising prices, which we're seeing everywhere. I mean, apparently free childcare offsets the cost of your food going up, according to the ABS, but that's going to completely disappear. It's not a long-term thing. I mean, how many of you are noticing food going up? Rachel went shopping. She did her monthly shop. I handed her $700. She spent $1,000. And she wasn't going crazy. Let me know if you've seen it. And this is Aldi. This is the cheapest we've gotten. Urgent sales or distressed sales are likely to become more common as we approach these milestones, which will test the market's resilience, he said. You can see here, when annualized, down 2.5, down 2.1 in Perth and Darwin. We'll have to see, guys. Similarly, the recent concerns of a second wave of the virus and the potential for renewed border closures and stricter social distancing policies are likely to further push consumer sentiment down. This is likely to weigh on both home buying and selling activity more broadly. The market has been shielded from heavier falls due to proactive government policy and favourable borrowing conditions, Mr. Lawless said. Record low interest rates, government support and loan repayment holidays for distressed borrowers have helped to insulate the housing market from a more significant downturn, he said. Increased demand driven by housing-specific incentives from both federal and state governments, especially for first home buyers, have become more substantial. Here is the thing, guys. If you're a first home buyer and you're tempted, have a bit of patience. Don't let the FOMO get you. There's always going to be more bloody houses. Don't worry. They're building 60,000 houses and apartments in Victoria right now. Migration's gone. International tourists are gone, so you get Airbnbs flood the market. International students, are they coming back in January? We'll have to see. Why jump now? Why jump now? You've got mortgage holidays. You've got JobKeeper and JobSeeker all inflated. Why jump now? Why not wait 6 months and just see? Just see. It can't hurt to wait. How could it go up again? What could drive property up? If anything, it would only be rampant in money printing, and it will be inflation and people just throwing it at property. Could that drive it up? But there's so much stock coming online. Could that offset it? Let me know. Let me know your opinions on that, guys. Could that be the one advantage, getting into a physical asset? And then they'll inflate away your mortgage. I mean, that could be one argument. I don't know. I guess I'm just not brave enough to jump and take such a huge debt on. I would wait. I'd be a bit patient. Oh, and not even mentioning the trading while insolvent. Directors aren't personally reliable. That presents an inherent risk to the construction industry, guys. Because, if you've got builders working on several different buildings, they'll take fees from one job to pay for the other, and it can get really messy. Really messy. AMP Capital Chief Economist Shane Oliver said, the current monthly pace of losses will continue before speeding up towards the end of the year when stimulus packages are removed. The lending commentator has tipped the Melbourne market to fall between 10 and 20% from its peak, while Sydney is tipped to lose between 10 and 15%. Further falls in home prices are likely. There you go. And I've got another piece that's looking at the same thing. More takes. Usually we'd have one article, cherry picking particular elements of property to spruik it up, to say it's going good. But now there seem to be a constant warning of property going down. So that's going to remove, consumer confidence. It's already not doing too well. Business confidence, we'll have to see the next update we get from this when the July data comes out. But, I mean, let me know if you're looking, you're buying, are you going to jump in? High and still rising unemployment, with true unemployment absent government support mechanism estimated to be just above 11%. The collapse in immigration, which has reduced underlying dwelling demand by around 80,000 dwellings a year, and the depressed rental market will likely combine to drive weak housing demand and increased forced sales. So we haven't seen that. How do you... Let me know in the comments, guys, if you know how you can track forced sales. Where can we get that data? I remember there's one woman advertising on Facebook all the time. Her secret in property was buying forced sales houses. Because the bank doesn't want a run. It doesn't want to run on the properties. JobKeeper, increased job seeker, bank payment holidays and other support measures have so far helped head off a sharp collapse in prices, but the market is still weakened anyway, and we expect an acceleration in falls as support measures start to taper from the December quarter. Sydney and Melbourne are the most vulnerable, given their high dependency on immigration, higher debt-to-income ratios, higher house prices to income ratios, and greater investor penetration. So Sydney and Melbourne, I'll bring up this chart again, guys, and you can see just how high they are, how high they've grown. Hobart as well. Hobart's a surprising one. I guess it's all the people making that green change to Tassie. So let's have a look here at some of the comments, because I know they're always the best part to read. And Robbie Rob, you know, true unemployment to hit 11%, you say. If you look at Roy Morgan Research, it's already at 14.9, and the underemployment rate is at 9.7, bringing the total to 24.6. There you go, a man after my own heart. What does Maddie say? And it will still be overpriced. I hope they fall 30% back to reality, peeps. Mimic, whatever that is. Interesting. Maybe and maybe not. I've been to a couple of private inspections and I've observed people before me and after our investors. Twice I've offered on a property and twice lost out by far. Yeah, but none of these mechanisms have been removed yet. None of them have been removed. Well, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you think Melbourne property is going to take a hit? What about other parts of the country? As always, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. I love you too, Frederick. I'm getting invaded here by my children. If you want to, you can also support us by buying our merch or using PayPal. Take care, guys. I think I'm going to have to go and make some hot chocolates. That's my job for this morning right now. Take care, everyone. I'll see you later.